Before going through hands-on practice, we just want to build a reliable, performant and data pipeline with Delta Lake storage. Here you can see this is going to improve data quality. From the first step, I'm going to create this raw data, which is ingesting from the batch processing or streaming processing. Later on, I'm going to move this data to bronze layer. This is raw injection, and we are not performing any kind of transformation here. Later on, I'm going to move this data into silver layer using hands-on, which is going to filter, clean, augmented and other kinds of transformations here. Finally, we will load this data to gold layer, which is business level aggregation, and here I'm going to ultimately pass this data to BI or ML purpose. So this is entire pipeline for us. Medallion architecture is just about bronze layer, silver layer and golden layer. Here you can see the data is ingested from Kafka, data lake or database, from any other resources, and we are going to move this to bronze layer. Now I'm going to perform any kind of operation where I'm going to move this data to silver layer, and finally we are going to move this data to gold layer for business purpose. And eventually I want to move this data to business intelligence purpose, reporting purpose, data analytics or data science. So this would be entire pipeline for my Medallion architecture. Or you can move this data set using this particular end-to-end project here. Let's understand the pipeline which we are gonna create using PySpark. I'm just creating this Unity catalog in the governance architecture. First, I'll create a landing container. Then I'll move this data to my bronze layer using this bronze schema. Then later on, I'll use my silver layer in order to perform any kind of transformation. Then I'll use my silver schema from Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Then I'm going to move back to golden layer, and then we'll create a gold schema. I'll also parallelly using this architecture where I'm going to use ADLS Gen 2, and this would be lending finally to Power BI architecture. So you can see this would be the pipeline for us. Let's see what kind of data set we have. We have raw traffic counts data set where we have pedal, cycle, two-wheeler, motor vehicle and buses and others kind of data set. LGV, HGV and electric vehicles are here. When I move back here about the data set itself, this is showing data dictionary. I'll share this file in the comment section or my GitHub repository where you can find this travel related data set, a count of each types of vehicle. And also you can see this is just a data dictionary where we have description or illustration about each and every column here, what kind of road data set is here, road category, road type, expected set of requisitive, what kind of dev workspace we will be creating, what kind of dev catalog we will be creating, what kind of bronze layer and silver traffic, road traffic, gold traffic, delta schema we will be creating. We will perform all the tables, all the hands-on practice one by one. Okay. Let's perform step number 1 where I'm going to create storage account and directory in my portal.azure. So I'm going to click this Azure portal. Here you can see this is showing multiple accounts. I'll have to choose my global administrator or this extension file where I'm having all the necessary permissions. Here you can see I do not have any kind of storage account. This is entirely empty and I do not have any Azure Databricks. I'll scratch everything from here. I do not have any resource group as of now in my portal. So let's create first storage account. So I'm going to create an storage account. Select your subscription. I do not have any resource group, so I'm going to create resource group 1. inside this resource group, I'm going to create this storage Sachin, and then let's pick this region, and I'm going to select this blob storage gen 2, and this is for the performance. I'm just selecting this previous one. Okay, and now I'm going to select this LRS and go to the next, and I'm going to select this enabling hierarchy namespace. Okay, or if I am going to select this standard one, it will allow me to select this enable hierarchy namespace so that I can use my data lake storage gen 2. Let's review and create. As you can see, this is just created. Deployment is complete. Now go back here inside this container, and I'm going to create 4 containers is in this storage account. First, I'm going to create my container name as lending, so which will contain all the lending related data set. Then the next container I'm going to create is Medallion. Okay, so I'm going to create this Medallion container. Now in the third container, I'm going to create for my checkpoints. So this will contain my checkpoints related data set. The fourth container I'm going to create for Metastore, which will consist Metastore related data set. So I'm going to create it Metastore Sachin. Okay. Now inside lending, I'm going to create 2 directories, raw roads and raw traffic. So I'm going to click this lending, and I'm going to add directory here. This would be raw roads and save. Can you see this is first directory? I'm going to add new directory raw underscore traffic. This would be next directory. Now go back here in the storage account. Inside this Medallion and architecture, I'm going to create 3 directories respectively. First one is, now inside this at Medallion, I'm going to create 3 directory. First is the bronze. Let's save it, and then I'm going to create another directory with silver related data set. Let's create it, and I'm going to add next directory is gold. Okay, so that's it. Now in the next step, I'm going to create Azure Databricks resource. So I'll have to go back here at the home page, click on Azure Databricks, or you can search here in the search bar. Azure Databricks is showing here. Create Azure Databricks service, or you can click here, and here you can see this is showing RG1 resource group. And let's create this Databricks SDG and dev. So I'm going to create this Databricks workspace name in the same region work US, and I'm going to keep it premium because this will access all your recommended services there. For example, Unity catalog or any other parts you want to access, this will have all the premium access there. I'm going to keep this manage resource group name, click anything as it is, and review and create. Meanwhile, my Azure Databricks is being connected here. I can create my access connector for Azure Databricks, which will allow me to access ADLS Gen 2 and my Databricks in that portal. So I'm going to click a new tab and click here Azure connector, or you can search for Azure connector for Azure Databricks. Here you can see this is showing here. Now click on create access connector and select your resource group and name it with this access connector, and then let's say Saxena, or click on next, and I'm not going to change anything. Review and create. Now in step number 4, I need to add role assignment using access control IAM. So what for this, I'll have to go back here. Inside this one, I'll have to click home, and I can go back to my storage account. Inside this storage account, I'll search for access control IAM from left pane. Here you can see it showing everything, and here I can see add role assignment option. Inside this add role assignment, I need to search for storage blob data contributor. So this would be storage blob data contributor showing. Can you see this is the option storage blob data contributor? Click on next. Here you can see it's showing user group or service principal. As we have created one connector there, so I'm going to select this, select members. So I cannot see anything, which means that is available in my manage identity. So I'm going to select this manage identity, and inside this one I can see the access connector for Azure Databricks. Search your name, you can see this access connector Saxena is there. You need to select this member and select this part, and review and assign. Review and assign here. Now in step number 5, I need to create Metastore for my Databricks notebook. For this, I just created this my launch workspace, which is now ready to use. I click on this launch workspace, it just open in a new tab. So click on this option, and now I'm inside my Databricks using the same credential, which is having global administrator. Now here you can see this might showing manage account, means I do have my global administrator role. If you do not have this global administrator role, you will have to go back here inside your home option, click on this your account, and go for your Microsoft Enter ID. Here you can see this roles and administrator, and inside this role and administrator you can see this is showing global administrator and one other roles. If it is not showing, then you will have to assign this global administrator to your current credentials. Okay, so currently I do have this one, and I can jump to my manage account. So I'm going to click this manage account using the same login, and I'm going to select this catalog from the left pane. Here I can see the create Metastore. So this Metastore is already there. I need to delete one because only one Metastore can be created in single region. So as I have East US as well, so this won't be successful. So I'm going to delete this one so that I can create new one. So this is asking my name. All right, you can see I do not have any Metastore here. A Metastore is a top level container for catalog in Unity catalog. Within Metastore, Unity catalog is 3-level namespace, also called like first is organized data, catalog, schema, and tables. So let's create this Metastore here. So I'm going to assign this Metastore. For example, I'm going to assign Metastore Sachin. This would be my name, and I'm going to select that region where I am working here. So I'm going to I'm working in East US, so this would be ADLS Gen 2 here, Gen 2 path. So here you can see this is skeleton, so I need to give this skeleton according to this path. So I'm going to select this container. Inside this container I can see this Metastore Sachin is there. So first I'll have to assign this container name. So I'm going to write here because this is just path. So I'm just going to @ and this is the storage account name. For this you do not need to type this everything, you just go back here, search for endpoints. Can you see this is showing endpoints here? Go down. If you go down here in this part, here you can see this is showing storage exact link is there. This one is the link, storage data lake storage. So I'm going to copy this one and paste it here. Remove this HTTPS because this is not there in my format. So this is a storage account name. Here you can see this is storage account name. This is DFS which is given in this portal here. And this is core windows.net. So what is the path here? If you do not have any path, you can skip this one. If you have any other directory inside this Metastore container, you can give that path. For example, is this inside this Metastore, I do have another directory, so I'll pass the directory here. Let's paste it here and copy here and paste it here. Now I'm supposed to connector ID. What is the connector ID? This is same connector ID which I created inside this my access connector. So I'm going to click here and going to select this connector value, and can I see this resource ID is there? Simply copy to clipboard, paste it here. You can see this is showing same. Everything looks fine. If you can see advanced option, I'm not going to touch anything, and let's create. Can you see it's just asking to assign this workspace which I am created now, and now I need to assign. I'll click this one option because this is automatically assigned. Now enable automatic workspace assignment, enable auto assignment. And now I'm going to assign this one, and this is enabling Unity catalog. Yes, I want to enable, and congratulations, my Metastore has been created just now. Now in step number 6, I need to create a dev catalog. For this, I am just inside my Databricks Notebook, not inside my account storage. So you can see this is my account data storage. Inside this, I'll have to click on this catalog, and here you can see this is asking to add a catalog. So before this adding a catalog, you will have to create a compute resources. Okay, so let's create a compute resources first. Okay, now for this step number 7, I need to create a compute resources. For this, I just click on this compute tab. Here I am just creating a compute resources. This would be policy unrestricted for single user. This would be runtime version, and this standard version is allowed for me. General purpose is sufficient for me. Allowed for 4 cores. And after 120 minutes it will be disabled, and also this use photon acceleration is also disabled here, so that I can decrease my dBu per units. Let's create this compute resources. Meanwhile, it's gonna create it. Let's go back to my resources here. I can create a catalog. This would be catalog name. Now in using this step 6, I'm going to create a catalog dev. So this would be catalog dev, or let's assign dev catalog. Okay, so let's keep it type standard. I'm not going to keep other standard because this is not shared or for anyone, and I'm not going to create this storage location. So if you can see, this is not showing any storage location because we have not created anyone. Let's create this catalog. Can you see this is showing the catalog option is here, and I can see this dev catalog is showing here. Okay, so I can see this create a schema option. If this is not showing for you, you can go back here inside this permission tab. Here you can grant this option, use catalog or use schema, or simply you can go back here, click on this all privileges, external use schema, and select your user. For example, for me, this is this user Sachin Saxena, and I'm going to click this option and going to grant this permission to my catalog. So when I'm going to assign this catalog here, so this is showing this particular privileges permission here. Then you can see this create option for you. Let's go back here. If you click on this setting option, you can see this Metastore is showing here. This Metastore is not access your catalog value. Okay, let's move to step number 8. In this step, I need to create external storages here. So I'll click here. You can see this is my dev catalog, and I'm going to create this catalog explorer inside this catalog option. I can see the external data here. Inside this external data, you can see create external location is there. So I'll have to create this external location. Let's create first location is for my lending. This would be lending, and I'm going to create this URL as we perform earlier. So I'm going to select this first option. This is my manage identity, and I'm going to create this entire schema, this entire path. So you can see this would be path. So for this, I'm going to click on this storage location. Click here on my portal. Click on this Azure portal, storage, select your storage and search for endpoint. So this would be my endpoint. Go down, select this storage, data lake storage point, and here I'm going to type this value. Before this, you can see here this is showing ABFS. So I'm going to write ABFSS : and then my container name. So what is my container name? That is showing here inside this storage. If you go back to your containers, inside this container we had lending container. So I'm going to create this external storage for this lending directory. So I'm going to write this lending, and then at the rate, this is my storage account name, dfs.core.windows.net. So inside this lending, I do not have some folder, so I'm going to keep this as it is. Let's copy this one and paste it here. Now selected the first standard, which is showing for you differently, and let's create. If everything looks fine, this won't show any error. You can see it's not showing any error, which means everything is fine. Permission, browse, workspace, you do not need to change anything here. Just see for test connection. If anything looks green, which means your connection is successfully created. If it is any of this one is red one, so you cannot go ahead with this portal. You need to create the other paths always. Okay, you need to check your directory path or anything here. Okay, now I'm going to create this, select this portal, and going to create another external location. So let's see, this external next location would be for my checkpoints. So this external location name would be checkpoints. Let's go back here in this external location. Here I'm going to copy this. Okay, selecting this one and going to copy this resource and paste the same URL here. Delete this one, copy this one. So this time this is not for lending, just for checkpoints. So I'm going to use this checkpoints here. Let's see what's the value. This is showing checkpoints. So make sure I do not have any type error. So this is for checkpoints, and storage credential is same for managed identity. So I'm going to create the second external storage. So let's create. It's showing everything looks fine. Test your connection. Can you see it's showing again green for everything? In a similar way, I'm going to create third external location. This would be for my bronze layer. So I'm going to this one, bronze. Let's paste this one and this would be BRONZE, and inside this branch I'll have to pass some subdirectory. So this is just showing branch. Okay, so here I do not have this branch and I have this storage name as Medallion, so I'll have to copy this name so that I will have same spelling name here. Just paste it here and just copy this path, and just inside this storage I do have this branch subdirectory, or if you want to create any other subdirectory, you can create this branch itself. So this one will be branch inside this branch subdirectory, so I'm going to keep it as it is here. Okay, now select this storage credential. Now I can see this would be my part here. So as we have this one, so everything looks fine. Here you can see this would be your branch layer. Okay, now let's create again test connection. Here you can see again it's created. Now in a similar way, I'm going to create another external location. This would be silver, and I'm going to paste it here, and this would be silver. Okay, now I'm going to select this storage account and let's create for silver as well. Everything looks fine for silver as well. In a similar way, I'll create for my gold layer as well. Paste it here, replace by gold, and now you can see this would be selecting my as it is. Everything fine for gold as well. Okay, so everything looks fine. Here you can see, if you go back here inside your catalog, you can see your cluster is also ready to run, and I'm going to click this dev catalog. Here you can see you can create your create schema. So I'm going to create a schema with this any random name, for example branch underscore test. This would be my external location. I can select this branch schema. If you are selecting any branch subfolder, you can click this branch. So this will be inside this branch will be there. If I'm selecting any other subpath, this would be inside this branch, inside this subfolder as well, and you can create this one. So this is the manual process using UI. So here you can see this inside this dev catalog, I can see branch test schema, and if I click on this test part, this is my location. Okay, so what kind of permission do I have? It's having all privileges. What kind of overview? If you want to see the details of this sample data, you can see this sample data here. As we do not have any data set or have not ingested right now, which means we do not have that kind of data set here.